The rock doesn't forget. There's a place just outside Salina that most people don't think twice about. They drive past it, they take pictures, sometimes they climb it. It's called Indian Rock Park, and depending on who you ask, it's either just a landmark, or it's something older, something that was never meant to be disturbed. Most locals know the basics. They'll tell you it's tied to native history, that it was once used as a lookout point, maybe even a burial or ceremonial site. The stories change depending on who you ask, but they all circle the same idea. People were there long before Salina ever existed, and whatever they left behind was never really gone. The first time anyone in my group noticed something was off, it didn't seem like much. It was just a sound, a low, dull knock, like stone hitting stone. There were 4 of us that night. We weren't there for anything serious, just filming, trying to make content. Something creepy, something that might get views. Indian Rock had the reputation. That was enough. It was around 11:30 p.m. when we got there. Too late for families. Too early for it to feel like a mistake. The rock itself looked different at night. Bigger, not physically, but the way it sat against the sky, blocking out the stars behind it. It felt like it didn't belong there, like it had been placed. "Go stand at the top," someone said. So I did, and that's when I heard it. Knock, not loud, not sharp, just deliberate. I turned around. Nobody else reacted. They were laughing, talking, checking their phones. So I told myself it was nothing. Wind, maybe something shifting. But then it happened again. Knock, closer this time. "Did you hear that?" I asked. They shook their heads. That should have been the moment we left. It wasn't. We kept filming, walking around the base of the rock, pointing cameras into the dark like idiots hoping something would happen. And eventually, something did. One of us, Tyler, said he felt sick. Not nauseous, not dizzy, just wrong. Like pressure building behind his eyes. He kept rubbing his temples, saying it felt like something was watching him think. We laughed it off. Of course we did. That's what people do right before something goes bad. It was around midnight when we noticed the markings, scratches along the side of the rock. Not new ones. These were old, deep, carved into the surface in uneven lines that didn't look like initials or graffiti. They looked intentional, but not modern. Probably just erosion, someone said. But the lines, they curved in ways that didn't feel random, almost like symbols or tallies. Tyler stopped talking, just staring at them, like he recognized something. "Hey," I said, "you good?" He didn't answer, then quietly, "I've seen this before." That didn't make sense. None of us had ever been there at night before, and Tyler had never mentioned anything about it. "Where?" I asked. He shook his head, slow, confused. "I don't know," he said, "but I know what happens next." That's when the third knock came, right behind us. We all heard it that time. No mistaking it, no brushing it off. We turned at the same time, and for just a second, I thought I saw someone standing at the top of the rock. Not clearly, not enough to describe, just a shape where nothing should have been. Then it was gone. We should have left. We didn't. Because Tyler started walking toward the rock. Not fast, not slow. Just steady. "Dude," someone called out. "What are you doing?" He didn't answer, he just kept moving, like he was following something we couldn't see. By the time we reached him, he was already climbing, hands slipping against the stone, barely even looking where he was placing his feet. "Tyler, stop!" Nothing. He reached the top and just stood there, facing away from us. That's when we heard it again. Not a knock this time. A voice. Low, layered, like more than one person speaking at once. We couldn't make out words. Not exactly, but it sounded old. Tyler's shoulders tensed, and then he said something that none of us have been able to explain. "They're still here." The voice stopped. The air went completely still. And then Tyler turned around, smiling. But it wasn't right. It was too wide, too still, like he was holding it in place instead of feeling it. "They don't like being filmed," he said. His voice didn't match his face. It sounded deeper, wrong. "Tyler, get down," I said. He tilted his head, like he didn't understand the words. Then he laughed, not loud, not natural, just enough to echo off the rock. And that's when the knocking started again. Not once, not twice, but over and over. From inside the rock, fast, louder, closer, like something was trying to get out. We ran, all of us. Didn't matter what we left behind. Cameras, bags, lights. None of it mattered, except Tyler. He didn't follow. Not right away. We didn't realize it until we reached the parking lot. There were only 3 of us. We went back. Of course we did. We couldn't just leave him there. But when we got to the rock, he was gone. No footsteps, no sounds, no movement. Just silence. And the scratches. Only now, they looked different, because there was one more line carved into the stone. Fresh. They found Tyler 2 days later, walking along the edge of town, barefoot, covered in dirt. He didn't remember anything. Not the rock, not that night, not even going missing. But he did say one thing, over and over, something he couldn't explain. "They told me not to come back." We didn't go back. Not after that. But here's the part that doesn't sit right. The part that made me stop posting anything we filmed. Because when I reviewed the footage later, there was something we didn't see that night. Something standing at the top of the rock. Not moving, not leaving, just watching. And in the final frame, right before the camera cuts, it turns. If you go out to Indian Rock Park now, you won't see anything unusual. Not at first, but if you stay long enough, you might hear it. That slow, deliberate knock. And if you do, don't stay to hear it a second time, because according to Tyler, that's when it starts to recognize you, and the rock doesn't forget.